Finance can be messy, but don't worry. We clean it up with facts, fun, and maybe a little sarcasm. Welcome to the Financial Sandbox. Let's get into it. Today, I've got two guests on, which is actually the first time I think I've had two guests on. So this show is starting to grow. Terrence McCrae has a unique background. He has a show called Close the Deal Show. And Deanne Crosby is a specialist in the deaf and hard of hearing community. And so I'm going to interview them both at the same time, and we'll see how this goes. Let's see here. Terrence, you described the Close the Deal Show as a vehicle for social impact through education, jobs, and resources. What's the underlying thesis, and how exactly does the business exposure translate to like community outcomes? Where do you fit in the community?
That's a very unique question. I fit in for the underprivileged, the poverty people who marginalize a specific group that aren't aware of policies being changed, as well as overall laws being changed that benefit them in regards to opportunities and resources, whether it's through grant funding, whether it's through specifically donations, because particular companies and particular groups, as well as organizations with government donations, target specific areas where they like to contribute funding.
Mm,
So the Close the Deal Show, target specific fudge leaders, people who generate an economic growth of 50 to 20 million, who create job opportunities and run different systems. So this allows people to be firsthand who are these people locally, where they could pressure them for work, because ideally this is how a lot of construction site companies and councilmen have cornered markets to uh, potential investors to invest in shopping mall areas. People think they're declining. No, they're just finding the right locations to expand and put all the particular resources, as well as particular companies that everyone wants, whether it's Albertsons, whether it's Panda Express, whether it's Costco's, all these brands, as well as Chase Bank, they market and come together. I find out who these subject matter experts are, influencers, who these philanthropists are, who the local city councilman is, and then I interview them with my own specific questions, but I gather data through local trends that's already pending. I just add another question to it and
nice.
get people's perspective. And when I find out specifically in this area, I go to nonprofits to see if they're solving these problems. So this is how the Close the Deal Show creates a networking platform and opportunity for companies to do BD business together, to do leadership together, to provide opportunities for those who income bracket isn't like Kim Kardashian's or
Right. Right.
LeBron James,
So
where they can get these people.
when we met, one of the things that you were doing was working with formerly incarcerated persons, helping them get into companies like Amazon and Facebook and getting their foot in the door. Are you still doing that? And how did you get those introductions so that you could be that conduit for those looking to uh, restart their lives, so to speak?
Well, more or less, developing first and foremost a rapport with different individuals and calling them mentors. Mentors start with what it is that you want to improve on, what it is that you want to change from, and what it is that you want to help others to see how they can benefit just as well as you're taking advantage of the opportunities that you receive through the experience of mentors who are guiding you in the right and most appropriate direction that helps you longevity wise, and not a monetary short term gain for something that anyone can obtain once they apply discipline. Because through it all, at the end of the day, whatever it is you strive for, you have to have discipline. And
Right.
without having sacrifice through discipline, you won't succeed. So it gave me the opportunity not to rush anything in life, because that's the whole purpose of understanding what life is to live in the moment and to own that moment, to
Right.
take that moment in.
So
And when you do that,
you've been an ambassador of gang prevention, and that's been a label that you have has been put on you because you've been successful there. uh, what do you see as that leaders, people that you're working with, what do they miss, right? What do they need to see uh, to do things differently when it comes to hiring, mentorship, and training?
attitude.
Hmm,
If your mind set doesn't have a good attitude, then that means how you think is how you gonna act. It's how you
so
gonna move.
talking mindset of the hiring people and those.
When you're talking mindset in any aspect of whatever it is you do, you have to have a set of a formula where you know you can't give all the gems away, but you have to be able to understand that if you got to go, you got to look back at how you reached your first goal, your second goal, your third goal, and you always have to add an addendum to what you're striving for, because this is a new goal. So
Sure.
the same method that you've been applying beforehand, you can still apply it, but you got to put a little bit more effort into it, because this is going to require more effort.
Right. Right. Deanne, you work in a community that often is misunderstood, right? So
Absolutely.
the deaf and hard of hearing community, I work in financial services, and the question I have for you is what does the financial services community not get?
Okay. Well, wow, that's a loaded question, but it actually applies as a response that I can say is in every industry. So just so that the world know who we are, I'm Dr. Deanne Crosby, and I'm the founder of Sign With Me. And we launched our organization over 20 years ago. And it's a simple mission dealing with access. And we believe in that access creates opportunity. So in the financial world, whether it's the financial world, the medical world, the education world, the legal world, the education. Did I say education? Yes, I did. Everyday life, it's communication. It's the willingness to provide access. It's the willingness to provide equity and inclusion. So oftentimes what we miss is really just an understanding and a willingness to want to connect. And anything we don't understand, oftentimes what do? We cast it aside, or we kind of pull back from it, and we don't engage. And so I'm wanting to be able to encourage our industry, our educators, our legal and law enforcement agencies, industry in general, to be willing to raise their levels of sensitivity toward cultures other than their own. And so we can do that through what I consider American Sign Language being a transformative way of communicating. And I think that that's the answer that's going to unlock so many doors.
Right, right. So do you, if you had an executive like Jamie Dimon in front of you, and you were to say to him, here's a best practice for a client journey, what would you say to Jamie?
The first thing I would say to Jamie is thank you. Thank you for your willingness to want to learn. The second thing I would ask is in terms of his clients, or how he's looking to engage, is he using interpreters?
Mm,
Is he just simply doing simple things like turning on closed captions like on this podcast? Are we doing the small things to make it accessible and just being mindful? It's just consideration, right? And so I would start with what is it? What would it look like for him if he were able to reach another diverse community. And if he were able to increase his numbers, increase his business, increase his return on investment, increase his dollars, which everyone wants to increase, right?
Right.
And we're able to show you how to do that with a different demographic, that all you have to do is provide access through communication, whether it's an interpreter, through captioning, right?
Right.
To just show that you are willing to bridge that gap. Imagine the doors that will open. Access creates opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to throw this Toastmasters question over at Terrence, but I think it's a question for you too. But
Okay.
What do you see? And I want to turn this to your clients, right?
Okay.
Your community, the deaf and hard of hearing. When you talk to them, what do they need to learn about the financial services community, the banking, lending community, housing community? What do they need to learn that may be holding them back or not getting to take that next step?
That's a great question. Terrence, did you want to go first or did you want me to go first? He'll probably say ladies
Always
first.
ladies first.
Because I'm throwing the same question to both of you for both of your communities.
See, my community is not just the hearing, the deaf community. It's really the larger majority is the hearing community.
Right.
And getting our hearing community to see that ensuring communication is not a barrier. Yeah. You have your deaf and hard of hearing community they fight real hard. You wouldn't believe how educated they are in every industry. It simply comes down to, do they have the access? For example, they want to reach out to you. They like your show. They see that I'm on it. They're going, oh, wow. What is it? Herb Alston and the Sandbox, they're deaf friendly. And I want to do business with him for that reason. So once that client then comes to you, they're hoping that because you've had me on your show, that I'm ensuring communication is not a barrier for them, that I've educated you on how to communicate with them, how to utilize video relay services or TTYs or voice to text message technology to help that communication. That's really all they need. Now, once you get them in your seat, they're going to need to know just what I would need to know if I didn't know anything about the financial world, or how to diversify, or how to, leverage my dollars to increase, and improve my my baseline so I can retire freely.
Right.
That's the same questions they're going to have.
Absolutely.
So just getting them to the table. And so we're not just raising awareness about American Sign Language. We're really transforming lives. And we're just saying, let's just make it accessible. And let's see where it goes from there. Bring us to the table, bring them to the table, but let's make it accessible and inclusive for them to be able to have that dialogue with you so you can help make them rich.
Yeah, it's one of my clients I work with very frequently with a TTY and her on the phone. And occasionally we do text. If we have something really quick, we do text to speech, but that type of thing, speech to text. And so she's really given us all the tools so that she feels really comfortable working with us, and it's really great working with her. Terrence, what do you think as we take that question to the next step? What holds the professionals back when dealing with the community of individuals that you're putting in front of them? And the other way around, what's going through the head of some of your clients that you could tell them or share with them to really increase their confidence, to straighten their back and feel empowered that you're putting them in a place for success?
In life, there are no shortcomings. You wake up the same way you strive. If you wake up sluggish, you're going to be sluggish. If you wake up with the attitude of wanting to achieve, you will eventually achieve. You might not achieve the day that you wanted to achieve, But as long as you're consistent and persistent, you will achieve. So overall, everyone path is different. I always tell people, you know, work hard and you will succeed no matter what. Just work
Right.
hard.
Right.
Don't
So,
complain, but work hard
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
because some people can't work.
You've been doing the Close the Deal show now for how many years?
Probably good five,
Yeah.
5.5 years.
That's what I was thinking. So looking ahead 12 months, 24 months, what's the next evolution of Close the Deal network? New format, new market, new partnerships. Uh,
Partnership is one of them, and that is with Sign With Me. I've had the opportunity. I'll let Dr. Crosby speak on what's next for the Close the Deal show.
oh, okay.
Okay, well, I can speak on how we met and how I feel that the connection that we have, with Terrence McCrae, how it came about, and with what we're doing with Sign with Me could definitely influence and benefit the Close the Deal network. And so, as a nonprofit, this is in fact on December 19th will be our 23rd year in existence as a visual-based learning nonprofit organization. And so we're excited about that. And so what we're doing is we're making, like I said, American Sign Language accessible. We're bringing awareness to the need for it. Terrence and I had a chance to speak after checking out his show, and he caught the vision. And I think that that's what inspired me to want to partner with him. And just recently, and I want to make an announcement to the world that he has come on our board with Sign With Me as a community, engagement director. And so he's going to be responsible for making sure we get in rooms like this, connecting with businesses and with industry to help kick down the door of, just making access an afterthought, but making it more of a forethought, and helping companies to understand how to engage, with individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. I mean, when you consider you have well over 3 million just here, in California alone. So you're talking about a 64 million, in the world, and about 48 million here in the United States. One in every 10 persons, can experience hearing loss.
Wow.
That's a lot of individuals.
Yeah.
And when you think about your children or your young adults or your aging adults, and uh, the impact that has on their lives is hitting every corner of our existence, from the education to your caregivers to your medical professions, your senior facilities. And you have these individuals that are too often silenced or misunderstood. And I want to make sure that we're understanding that communication is a human right. Just recently, I don't know if you saw, our president made a comment about interpreters. That was very alarming to me. And the comment was, in a nutshell, without quoting it exactly, was that having the interpreter was a nuisance, or that it was in the way. The interpreter was in the way, or not beneficial to have, on the platform, and that basically this population can just get the information third hand, not real time. I thought that was just very alarming, and that's been really the sentiment of our world as hearing people, how we actually look at the deaf community, how we actually engage them or not engage them. And so we're wanting to change that. And so the future of Sign With Me, we're poised to be, the leading visual-based learning company that's providing access and resources, and being able to say no more. Let's take, this isolation out of the picture here. Let's integrate. Let's make sure that we're strengthening infrastructure, whether you're a company, you want to improve your employee relations, you want to take advantage of one of our training classes or trainings that could help you improve that, and working with your clients or your customers or your staff and being able to provide that skill. Now, we're not talking about becoming an interpreter like me or an educator like me, but just some basic conversation structure to help you with your day-to-day reality. And that could be whether you're in the classroom, in the community, at the grocery store, at the financial office, getting your taxes done or discussing investments. We want to make sure that people are having a little bit more knowledge and resources to help them communicate with our deaf community and those
How
that are
can they
becoming deaf.
contact you?
Well, yeah.
How can they contact us?
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So I consider myself lucky. When I was at the end of high school and college, I had a handful of friends that were deaf and hard of hearing. So I wound up in junior college and at college, went to the junior college while I was in college to learn sign language, to really improve my communication with my friends that were part of that community, right? It was it seemed logical to me, right? You move to Spain, you learn Spanish. You learn to France, you learn French, right? So it just seemed that way. And my nephew, when he was in high school, he had a handful of electives, and one of them that he chose was sign language.
Okay.
And
so how was that, you being a fully hearing person all your life, and now you're faced with a group of deaf? How was it for you in terms of your assimilation into that setting?
I felt so welcomed in and a part of this new community and new friends, and found myself in at various times. I had the craziest situation where I was at the grocery store one day, and there was someone there who was not communicating with the teller or the customer service person. And so I just walked up and started speaking to her in ASL and interpreting back and forth, and just felt, wow, what an opportunity that the universe gave me to help this person.
And that's the same mindset and the impact that's going to be effectuated with everyone that introduces sign language into their world. So when you meet someone that speaks your language, bing, you're like, oh, they don't, even if you don't know, you don't have to know the whole language, right? When I go into my Spanish speaking community and say, "Cómo estás?" We still, having a little conversation. They say, "You know Spanish?" Say, "Habla español un poquito." Then I stop right there, But the point that I'm making is that whenever we extend ourselves beyond our normal capacity to show that we have a greater capacity to connect with others, that's transformative. That's life empowering. That is, it just sends positive signals. And so that same experience that you had, and even in your uncomfortableness, you still found joy.
Oh yeah.
And you found it as an opportunity that the universe had given you to have an impact and engage at that level. That's the impact we're wanting to spread right there.
So in 2023, you were awarded the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce an award, right?
You did some research.
Yeah, I've done my research.
Thank you.
Yes. Tell me what it was like to be recognized by the community, by your community. What was that like?
Wow. As a member of the chamber, and I'd only been a member for a couple years, and in my industry, because I consider it very niche, to have the validation, sometimes you wonder, am I really, having the impact that my passion, do people really see what I'm doing? And is it really valuable or vital in their eyes as it is mine? And so for me, it was a very validating thing. Out of all of the businesses, that are in the chamber, this is all the chambers across Southern and Northern California, all of California. And for me to be chosen as one of the to receive the presidential award. It was very humbling, very exciting, and very encouraging, because it really helped to anchor me to say, okay, keep going. You're on to something here. Keep going, Deanne. Keep going.
Right, right. Terrence, you really have been a facilitator and a leader in getting back to gang prevention and kind of really high stakes human environments, right? What's your leadership operating system? I mean, your rules for integrity, decision making, and protecting your reputation at the same time. Where do you? I guess where's your North Star?
Hmm. You're looking at it from the example of associating with people like yourself. It goes back to what I stated early on, mentorship. You know, you can't be guided somewhere and not strive for something without having mentors. You know, guidance is giving from those who've been there before you. So if you want to follow in the footsteps of your predecessors, your newfound predecessors, your new associates, your new business contacts, they set the example. If they have 15, 25 years or better doing what they love best consistently, I mean, come on. Ideally, that is the example of what you're striving for, success. You know,
What?
as far as integrity goes,
Mhm.
um, if you don't see me on the 6 o'clock news, you got all the integrity in the world for me then. You know, so that go without saying. That's like my motto. The movement to succeed will continue. And
Right.
that's each and every day. You know, that's
And
my
to
motto.
speak to what That's to speak to what Terrence is saying as well. Having that experience is the North Star, and how he was able to transform his life. And when I actually participate in a Teacher of the Year, teacher to teacher co-teaching at the Los Padrinos, and that's for the youth that are incarcerated in Southern California. And so I get a chance to go into the juvenile hall detention in the school, Los Padrinos. And one of the things that I learned is my story matters.
Hmm.
And that these young people want to be able to not only know your success, they want to know where you launched from, where your beginnings were, what was your process, what was your fall, what was your climax, and what are you doing right now to make a difference. And so being able to be in that environment, having family members who have been incarcerated. My father was what they call in the game when I was a kid, and was murdered in the game. In the
Mm.
game, my brother, who is currently incarcerated 28 years. So growing up, having two male figures in my life, be raised by the system, and to be able to live through that. What was my perspective as a young girl growing up, whose brother was in gangs, whose dad was, you know, um, I don't know if it was a gang, but I know he was in the game. I don't even know. I was 4 years old when he
Nice.
passed. But my point being is I'm able to level the playing field when I go in and talk to these youth, so they can see that I can relate to them, that I have something of my background experience that connects to them. Then they're able to hear my story. Terrence has a story, a very powerful success story. And so this is what our youth need. They want to see, your life unfold before them, and what you're doing, to model integrity, courage, and success. They want to see that it's working for you. That gives them hope.
So we Terrence, you mentioned mentorship. If you had to pick a mentor, one that's really made a difference in your life, is there one that you could share with the audience, my audience, what one person who's really.
No, there's not just one. It's too many. It's too many. It's too many. Spencer Christian is one of them. You're one of them. Um,
You're talking
Van
Christian from
Van
Channel 7 ABC. right? The
Yes, he's
correspondent.
definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Um, Van Remco, Van D. Elzen Remco. He's another one. Jasper Smith is one.
Is there a
Um,
through line of all of them? Is there a
oh
consistent
yeah, yeah.
like that?
It's been the whole network that I met with you, the whole Black entrepreneur college graduate fraternity network that I met with you when I had my ex. When we was at all those mixers in Oakland. I mean, come on now. How you think I stayed abreast and being where I'm at? Well, I that was right before COVID took off.
Right,
Okay. We
right,
were a part of the same organization, Urban Financial Service Coalition. That opened up the opportunity and door for me to get a scholarship to Golden Gate University with the MBA master Robert Schaffner. Yeah, the professor, because of his president status of the organization and him working at the college, that put me in position. And he's been a mentor as well. He's been to my business mixes that I've given at WeWorks on Market Street in downtown San Francisco. Him, his wife, and attended multiple times to their theater play that they have off of Fullerton over there in the Fillmore area.
right, right. So, Deanne, you're a mentor to many.
Mm-hmm.
Where where has been your through line, and who's been that? Maybe you've got lots of them, but is there a similarity, a straight line that outlines the mentors that you've had that have really helped you to be where you are now, so that you can say, that was one person that really helped me get here.
That's a great question. I'm really fortunate. It's not often that people in a lifetime get to have two mothers and two fathers. And so I say that because it was because of my godparents
Mm.
who actually stepped in and played a very vital part in changing and shifting the trajectory of my life. And if had it not been for them, who they're God-fearing parents, one was my dad, who just recently passed away. He was the director of the Los Angeles County Probation Department, and my mom was a counselor. So I
Right.
got the, so you can see I got the reinforcement and the discipline, and then I also got the mindfulness from my mom through counseling, and so their instruction and guidance, and because I had such a desire to do right, I really wanted to see my life differently. I listened to everything they told me to do because I knew that they were not going to lead me wrong, and so they were my first real mentors as a couple, as a guiding light for me. If it were not for them, I would not have made it to USC. I would not have, accomplished two masters, two bachelors, and a doctorate. It's because of them. And given the history of where my life could have gone,
Sure.
my life could have shifted a whole different direction down another pathway. And
Right.
so I would say my godparents, and you're talking about people who are not blood, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
who
Great.
saw something, when you're able to see something in someone and you're willing to take the action to pour and invest in someone else's life, that is probably the biggest gift I could have ever received in my lifetime. And because it's something that will impact me for the rest of my life. And it's not to discount the other mentors I've had along the way and those that have seen, light in me, or power in me, or something in me that they wanted to promote or exploit in a positive way. Um, Not to discount them, but that early beginning, 12 years old, my godparents, Larry and Leada Dorsey, coming into my life and shifting my life, kept me out of juvenile hall, kept me out of jail, kept me out of the system, kept me off the streets, kept me out of being pregnant before marriage. All of that really helped change my life and help me to be established to where I am today.
That's awesome, because you're doing that now You're passing that on every day. So as we, in my show, what I hope is that people, especially younger people who are making their way into the workforce, financial workforce, tech workforce, that they see that there are options. How are you working with those people who may not have a parent who is an engineer or a doctor or a, you know, they're that type of influence? How do you help them to see that, hey, all of these areas of work, whether it's tech, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's a plumber or a electrician, how do you work with those people to say this can be your path, and how do you help those people to make that step?
Is that for me?
It is.
Okay, great. How do I do that? For me is I'm always looking for the positive. I'm always looking for what is the strength in the person. And oftentimes, because innate in every human being is the desire to be seen, to be felt, and to be understood. And when I'm able to connect with an area within you to help you see that I understand where you're coming from, and I'm able to I call it leveling the playing field in a sense, but I'm a connector. When I'm able to connect with you, once I'm able to establish that rapport with you, then I'm able to sow into you. Then I'm able to show you possibilities that align with what you've already shared with me. So having a listening ear and being able to, my mom used to say, learn to listen and listen to learn. So I learned to listen to what the spirit of the person is saying, because sometimes they'll say something without saying the words, and sometimes you have to listen beyond the words. And when I'm able to tap into that area, then I'm able to exploit that area and say, hey, had you considered this? What about this? If I put this in your space, what would you do with it? And so our students today, as an educator, I've been teaching for over 23 years, and I've taught every level, middle school, high school, college. And obviously now with our ASL training, I'm out in the communities and in industry and in districts. But I tell my students that the challenge they have is finding their motivation. I'll say it that way. There's a lot of just lackluster. I mean, the social connection is lost. COVID hit. So a lot of our students have lost the ability to really socialize, They're on that phone, on the text message, and on the computers and on the games. And so how do we tap into their motivation? And so we have to do it through the things that they like. So that means I have to learn AI. I have to learn technology. I have to learn how to play, what is that, Minecraft and all these games that I have no interest in learning. But in order for me to be able to speak their language, which is what I had to do, even in the deaf community, I'm signing songs and concerts, and had an experience where a deaf person came up to me and started signing to me, and I didn't know what they were saying because I only knew the lyrics to the song. Okay, so being able to get past that point, I got to be able to have that conversation about your favorite game. So that means I got to play the game.
Well,
my point is making the connection.
Yeah, your parent.
Making the connection.
Yeah, it's being a part of that village. Well, so as I close the show, I always like to close it with humor, and so I like to ask a unique question. So Terrence, as I'm a big cartoon person. So So Terrence, if there's a cartoon character out there that's either your favorite cartoon character or the character that you think best represents you, who is that cartoon character and why?
Adam Quest. And the reason why is because I'm adventurous.
All right. Same question, Deanne.
Wow. Easy peasy for me. See the color of Terrence's shirt?
Yep.
Gumby. I might be aging myself right now. But Gumby. You remember Gumby and Pokey? I'm Gumby because I'm flexible. And because I have a team mentality, former USC Women of Troy, basketball player, I'm about teamwork. And so I am willing to pivot and shift. I accept and embrace change. So I consider myself Gumby because I'm flexible and I'm willing to make change.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, folks, that's a wrap. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more raw, real financial talk in the sandbox. My guests, Terrence and Deanne, thank you so much for joining me today. I feel gifted. I feel blessed. I feel like I've been showered with love by listening to both of you. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having